Hello there. It's Geeks Assemble time again. And
Happy St.
Susan,
Patrick's Day.
yes. You see, I'm not Irish, so I don't really celebrate it.
But this fella named Peter O'Toole sure did,
Well, yeah, well, there again, it didn't need to be St. Patrick's Day for him to celebrate anything, did it?
right?
Yes, as you can tell, the way Susan's waving that little pamphlet about, we are discussing the 1962 movie Lawrence of Arabia. Um, Based on the Ottoman experiences of T.E. Lawrence during the First World War. Um, this movie won, was it seven Academy Awards? So it was a
Yes.
winner of the year. Um, an epic movie, shall we say? It's in two parts, and there's a few famous faces in this. So we will go over to Susan for her opening thoughts on Lawrence of Arabia.
All right. Well, I've never read the Seven Pillars of Wisdom, but T. Lawrence was one of the like quintessential heroes of the British experience, and even as an Irishman, uh Peter O'Toole played this man with with received pronunciation and great charisma and everything, and he was just amazing. And Lau- Lawrence, who when he went to into the desert, he met the Bedouin tribes, which called him Orance. The L glided away, elided, as you would say as a linguist. And he was great. He became like the deliverer of Damascus and the savior. Uh, or is it the savior of Damascus and the deliverer of um Odin? Um,
Um,
Aqaba. Anyway,
Akaba, yeah.
yeah, like he was either the deliverer or the savior of both Aqaba and Damascus. I'll just put it that way. He was he was amazingly bold and brash, but he was also actually really sensitive to the cultural norms and practices of the people who he was dealing with. He tried valiantly to really respect their traditions, which was a little different from the way the typical military interventionist, even especially in World War One, the way that they regarded the people, across the Arabian and Sinai peninsulas. He this movie was shot in Morocco and in, what was it, Turkey? No.
It,
Anyway, it was shot in in Jordan. That's right. I the Kingdom of Jordan. And so, on some level, like the people that were the extras and stuff, they were able to be gathered from around the same areas, and that was really interesting also. And yeah, like Lee said, it had the most amazing cast, a lot of really well-known fellows, including one of my personal favorites, Sir Alec Guinness. help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only pope. And at this point, you're quite a good prince at this point. So help me, Prince Obi-Wan, you're my only pope. So there's another aspect of this. It's just fun. Alec Guinness is was at that point known for being really, really funny, a comedy guy, but this is a really serious role, and he took it carefully and stuff. And uh and it was, I guess it was about a 3-year period of time or a 4-year period of time. Anyway, it it was amazing. The the demonstration of how Orance really endeared himself to these princes and these sheiks and these kids, and just like, really became sort of uh a leader. I mean, on some level, it is the trope of the white savior, so that's kind of like, uh, but on
Mm.
some levels, it's like I mean, this is like the adventure of a lifetime, and it's true. The important thing is to realize is that once he was done with all of this, Orance, changed his name in order to become common and just went to work at a normal job. I mean, it's just the weirdest thing. He was just like, I don't want any more fame, fortune, nothing more. I'm just going to go. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go live humbly. And that to me was like, when I found that out, I was like, wow, what a trip. Anyway, um, yeah, so there's a lot to be said about this. It's one of the most beautiful movies ever shot. The cinematography is awesome. Absolutely amazing. Gorgeous. And yeah, so what are your opening thoughts, Lee?
Well, you won't be surprised that with Peter O'Toole's perfect English accent, you do realise he was British. He wasn't Irish. He was born in
Mm.
Leeds, 60 miles 60 miles away from where I live.
He was born in Leeds?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he was Irish. I thought he was like
I think you're.
born
I
Irish.
think, I think you're thinking of another Hellraiser, Richard Harris.
Oh, oh, was I? All right.
but
All right. I guess
but
so.
yeah, as I say, it's an epic. But as you say, the cinematography is brilliant. I mean, this is a David Lean film. Um, he's well known for doing these epic movies, and it's some of the characters are an amalgamation of other characters, um, which a lot of movies do. Um, but to as you say, he was a hero. Watching the movie, was he a hero? Because at the beginning, where there are his memorial, some of the people didn't see him as a hero. He he sort of started, halfway through, he started to believe his own hype, didn't he? He sort of became a bit egotistical. The character of Lawrence, um, leading the army of the Arabs. and then just walking away from, because it didn't work in the end, did it? It just didn't work. The council of the Arab countries just dispersed, and he just walked away, um, going under another name. I wonder, because you saw in certain scenes he 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 hated killing. He wouldn't kill, but
Hmm.
then he got the blood rush. He wanted to kill. He wouldn't stop killing. Um, I wonder if him walking away, he suffered from PTSD,
Hmm.
because
Sure. You know it. That's
yeah,
that's that's quite that's quite accurate. Yeah.
yeah, because he was the switching character from that gentleman to the raging killing machine on the battleground, um, was quite something to see. And say Peter O'Toole, just when he was on screen, he just, your attention was on him all the time. You know, the way he played it so gently and humbly, then all of a sudden sort of turned egotistical, posing for the newspapers, and I thought, wow, what a. I mean, it was T. E. Lawrence was most probably a great historical figure, war figure in those days. Um, but now, would he be looked upon as a frowned upon, interfering in other countries' politics? I mean, I know, world governments do that anyway, but this one
The
pair.
the reason that people laud his action is because he wanted the people of Arabia and of Sinai to govern themselves.
Mm,
He didn't want the British in there
I mean,
trying to like be colonizers after the war.
well, the British just left him out to dry, hang out to dry, didn't they? They didn't even turn up for the battle. You know, they let him take Damascus while they sat there back at camp.
Yeah.
You know, let him do all the work.
Right, right, absolutely. That's really accurate. He did
Mm.
do all the work.
Um, as you've mentioned Alec Guinness.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
I mean, Laurence Olivier was going to do that part, but he pulled out.
Oh yeah? The part
So,
of Prince Festal?
yeah, so Alec Guinness got the part.
Oh wow.
Um, you had Anthony Quinn as Auda Abu Tayyeh,
So
with
he did such a great job. He played
a,
that
Me-
guy.
a Mexican playing an Arab,
Uh-huh.
um, with his false nose.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was a bit distracting because you could tell it was a bit false. But what else have we got here? We've got Jack Hawkins as General Allenby, who got the part over Cary Grant.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And then we had, I think, one of the greatest actors, Omar Sharif,
Oh my gosh, he's so good.
as
And then this one, he was Mr. Romantic Hero, you
well,
know.
he began to be, when you first saw him in the movie, you thought, oh, he's the bad guy because he
Right,
killed his guide,
right?
you know, and just left him in the desert. So you think, oh, what bad guy? And then all of a sudden, he turns out to be his best friend.
And he was so strong and so supportive, and he was also, willing to invest his people and his own energy into this.
Mm.
That was amazing. Go on.
But
Go on.
I mean, by the end of the movie, you know, when the Leave Lawrence just sat there in the council room on his own,
Uh-huh.
Sheriff walks away crying,
Uh-huh.
and Quinn's character says, "Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Why? I'm leaving, and I'm crying because I love the man." And he just walks away from it. So what they went through together in this movie. Who else did we have? It's a small part that we had Jose Ferrer
Mm-hmm.
as Bay,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Quayle as Colonel Brighton,
Mm-hmm.
well-known British actor,
Oh my gosh.
and of course we had Claude Rains in this.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean, one of my favourite classic actors is Claude Rains.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, forever the Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what's the film called? Casablanca.
Oh yes.
Um, but yeah, what a cast. And this isn't when movies were made where you had. I mean, the version you mostly watched had the instrumental music with the blackout screen right at the beginning of the movie for a good.
The overture and the intermission
Yeah, yeah.
concert.
You see, they don't make movies like that now. Because you sat there thinking, right, this is the screen's in blackness. You've got the overture going. It went on for a good 4 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Then the film starts,
Yep.
and then 2.5 hours later, there's an intermission, and then that comes back to the movie for another hour and a half or something like that.
Yes.
But yeah, it's a to have begin the film with him being killed in a motorbike accident,
Mhm.
and then to go back to where it all
Yeah, and in but in that motorbike accident sequence, they show three things that could have happened. There was a limousine, there was a motorbike, and then there was the killing, the drugs that they were, the drink of whatever the. So I mean, they really didn't know what actually. I mean, there are three possible endings to this man, and they're still not 100% sure which
Oh,
one it was.
I'm sure they knew that he was killed in a motorbike accident.
Uh, the but there was supposedly, like, right after that you see the limousine, but before that the limousine um y- they were, uh yes, he was on a motorbike, but was it a limousine that pushed him out of the road, or was it the two kids on bicycles, or was it something that they had put in his drink before he got on the motorbike? I mean, those are the three possible endings, and they
Who,
were the police don't have a solid answer for anyone.
what drink?
Uh, the one that he was drinking, that he was supposedly drinking right before he got on his motorbike, and
Yeah, but who? He was in England. He died in England.
I of course he did.
But
But there
who?
was all right, all right. I just know that there were
Oh, no.
three possible endings that they have. I mean, there's three alternative possibilities to his
Yeah, I mean,
demise.
yeah, I understand the limousine. I understand the kids on the road, but I don't think he got poisoned because he doesn't anywhere say anything about.
Okay.
Um, but as you say, he started off really wary of where he was going and traveling on those camels. I wonder how long it took those actors to get used to those camels because it
Uh,
was really it
camels,
was.
camel riding is fun. I've done it.
Oh right,
Yeah, it's all right. Don't worry. It's an easy thing to do.
because it was actually the actors on the camels. In you could see it was them.
Right, right. It's
Yeah.
all right. It just takes a little, like you got to get in. You got to get your whole body kind of used to the way that they walk.
Yeah,
It's not impossible. It's really a good way to travel.
I mean the also the predicament of the execution of the guy who he saved from the desert. You could see the torment and everything in his face. I mean, so well acted. You can see why this movie won 7 Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't really watch it. The what it for. I think it was cinematography and direction and stuff like that, music. But you know, for a subject of a movie, you'd never think of this coming up, would you? Of this one guy and an all-out movie like this, so appreciated by the people who watched it and thought, "Wow, this is a great movie." So
And it really was the most amazing movie.
yeah, because it just draws you in. Admittedly, as I say, it's a long, long, long movie, but it's worth the watch from beginning to end. Because they say he's been used by his his government. He's been used by Prince Faisal. You know, and once he's done the job, they just sort of turn the back on him.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and they just get on with what they want to do and just forget about Lawrence. Send him back to old Blighty. So anyway, that's me chatting away. What's you, Susan? What's
Well, they did send him back to the UK and stuff, but I mean his presence in the Middle East really changed the way that uh people regarded the place
mm,
in terms of in terms of conversations that you have about the Ottomans and about the way that the Arab revolt is what they called it, the Arab revolt. Back 3 years ago, 4 years ago, we had the Arab Spring, which was generated on Facebook and Twitter at that time. Really kind of amazing how like stuff got generated that way and connections and groundswell and grassroots activism. But this was people in that time didn't have phones, they didn't have radios, they didn't have television, they didn't have any of they wrote letters. The letters went by camel. The 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 conversation back and forth was done with telegraphs and or telegraph, whatever, and and some radio in the military, and the rest was done by foot or word of mouth. And the people that they were interacting with were given a chance during this time to really pursue their finally pursue their own their own direction outside of the colonization of the kingdom. And that was really something amazing. I mean, they in Iran they installed a Shah, and he lived and ruled there for 30 years, you know. And in Egypt, you know, there was that, but in like Saudi Arabia, they had the sheikhs and these uh these Bedouin tribes that needed to, you know, come together because that's where the power was. I mean, really the power in the region was the tribal power, and Lawrence knew how to do that. He knew how to get on a camel and go out and see people and talk to people and fight with people and get that stuff really done. And then at the end, when he and his tribes, you know, were doing all of those railway takeovers, I mean, that was amazing, you know.
Yeah,
Uh that was like you know, you see those things in science fiction now, and it's kind of the same kind of frenetic activity. I mean, the way that Lean used jump cuts and quick editing during those sequences, that was amazing. Oh my gosh. It was like also so exciting. And I can't imagine being like just a normal person, you know, not having watched this with criticism and
yeah.
going on.
Well, the the film has a few criticisms from people that it's historically some of it is inaccurate,
All right,
but,
well, that's
but
true, but
yeah,
it isn't uh stating this is a documentary.
no.
It is a narrative piece of fiction, you know, it's fictionalized reality. It's the, you know, you're right. It isn't exactly what happened.
Yeah, I
But it
think dates and places have been sort of swapped over here, and but that's what
but you
makes
see the
film.
same kind of effects and editing in Back to the Future on the train scenes that you do in this. I mean,
Mhm.
David Lean, by timing it so tight and making those shots just like so short and like making it so exciting and building, you know, it, that's been copied all the way along now. I mean, it was copied in in The Mandalorian when they're taking over that ship, and also in Solo. I mean, trains that are getting attacked, that's done that way. It's done the way that this is.
I mean that scene on the train where they steal all the horses. I think that's a brilliant scene. All the horses jumping off the trains,
And
and
you could see that the prince was going to get the one with like the beautiful white one with the
yeah,
tail that was, I mean, Arabs are judged by how they hold their tail, and this one the tail was, and like you're just like, oh my gosh, that one's going to be for the prince. Yeah,
but
so exactly,
yeah,
precisely.
it's it's a very stunning and amazing thing to watch. I mean, as you say, the scenery, the costumes, everything about it. Um, this is when we used to make movies so grand and epic. You know, I think Hollywood and any other filmmakers have sort of lost that. We
Well,
don't seem to
they're
get.
trying to do it in science fiction now.
Yeah,
They're adding, you know, like I just I'm trying to envision what's coming next for Dune 2. And I'm like, Oh yeah, they could steal this bit right here. This bit could go there, and this bit, these dunes. Oh my gosh, this those dunes where they're at the very top, and the one falls in quicksand. I mean, we just had a terrible news story on Wednesday that a kid was digging a hole at a beach with his family, and the kid got buried alive. It
Jeez.
died in the sand, just got sucked down and buried alive. And the sister was pulled out, but he was gone. And they
Wow.
had a backhoe. I mean, you see them trying to dig him out and throw that uh his his turban to
Yeah.
him, the turn his turban into a rope to hold to catch. And you're just like, my God, is this gonna work? And it didn't work, and he was sucked down into the quicksand and gone.
Mm.
But you know it's dangerous. You know sand can be dangerous as hell because like this kid just died. And they
Well,
had they had a big backhoe. They had like a caterpillar with like the big bucket to try and dig him out. And they didn't get him.
well, that's the perils of sand, I suppose.
It is.
Yeah.
And these people lived like, oh, it's just amazing. And the other thing that was so interesting about this was that they were talking about, you know, the steps to go to Medina and Mecca,
Hmm.
and that, and how to really shore up the Arab people, protect them in Jerusalem, protect them on and this council that you were referencing earlier, you know, they that was supposed to protect them, and protect the Haji, the pilgrimage to Mecca or whatever. And I just think that they did so much. You learned a lot about this, and
Mm.
and then there's I watched another movie, one with Tom Conti, what a cutie, called Oh Jerusalem, and it's about the what happened after World War I
Yeah.
and into World War II, like into 47, when Ben Gurion takes over in Israel. And like, so this dovetails into so many other things that I know about. And I just think it's so cool. I just, and I love the Middle East. I love Eastern Europe and the Middle East personally so
Yeah.
much.
I mean, I know they didn't really do touch on this in the movie, but there has been documents written about his relationship with those two helpers he paid, the other two young kids. It has been stated in other people's writings that he sort of was in relationships with them both.
Huh.
But his sexuality has never come out. Everybody saw him or knew him as asexual.
Uh-huh.
It never interested him. But it's been people have documented that things were going on. So, but you could see when the deaths of the two boys really did affect him.
Uh-huh.
So you never know. You never know. It could have been true what's been written down, or
Right.
you could see he loved them.
Right. And there's like and at the end of his life he wanted to be sort of uh you know dialed down,
Mm.
not in public, not going to war anymore, not serving anywhere, no no records, kind of thing, changed his name.
Mm.
Um, and he was like in this place of like he just wanted to marry it and have kids or whatever, but they don't know if that was if the kids weren't hers to be to you know that she wasn't out with some other people, and
That's true.
if they were his kids, because the probability was is that there was he was queer on the level, and that was challenging too. I mean, he challenged so many different things in his life, and
Yeah.
I just think that that was, I mean, all the way that the all the leaders in the tribes really, the Bedouins really loved him. He was uh an attractive human being.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, and not as tall as Peter O'Toole. Because Peter O'Toole's quite a tall guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, a classic movie, and hopefully they will never ever remake this.
Right.
Just don't touch it. Just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly. Precisely.
anything else you want to say about Lawrence of Arabia?
Um.
What we haven't really touched upon?
What what haven't we really touched upon?
I don't know. As we're saying, what we haven't really touched upon. Is there anything?
I mean, his there was that time when he went back and took off the robes that he won basically in becoming friends with the character played by Omar Sharif, the Sheriff Ali, um,
Hmm.
that he was like, uh, I bet you'd really like to put on some pants, and you could see half of him was like no, and the other half was like yes. It was, it was,
Also, when he went back to his headquarters,
yeah,
the racism was
yes,
was was rife, wasn't it? I mean, he was there in all his flowing gown,
yeah,
and people calling him names, and you know, you're thinking, wow. But then that show hero there,
yeah, yeah,
just because you can't see his face or whatever, or he's covered in muck, and the racism. I mean, that one where that guy hits him, and then later on in the movie, he wants to shake his hand.
yeah,
I'm thinking, what the racism was rife.
yes. That really was like, uh I mean, it was pretty in your face about that, and
Yeah,
yeah, it was good.
no,
It
yeah,
was of its time. I mean, the the uh folks that had family and stuff connections made it really hard
mm,
for them to move up in the military ranks,
oh yeah,
I
it's but
can't
it
imagine.
but it
But
was good that they showed this in the movie,
yeah,
because some people would have sort of hidden it and pushed it to a side, so it wasn't included in the movie.
Right.
You've got to show these things,
Yep.
and that's what they did. So,
And
anything
then
else?
and then there was like uh out at Taipei eating all the scenery. I mean, Anthony Quinn just went on scenery. I mean, and Alec Guinness playing Prince Faisal as regal as they come.
And I know Alec Guinness and Anthony Quinn tried their best to look exactly like the people. Get the
Hmm.
get the skin color right, the eyes right, even
Right,
so the way Alec Guinness spoke. Um, the, the, they looked at photos, looked at to get the look right, just so they didn't stand out.
right.
Um, I mean, yes, okay. We had a Mexican playing an Arab. We had an English actor playing an Arab. People these days would be up in arms about the blacking up, so to speak. But once you're watching it, it doesn't even enter your head because you get so involved with these characters.
Well, and these were characterizations on a narrative. This was not a what do they call them? A reconstruction or a dramatization. This
Yeah,
was these were characterizations. It wasn't a dramatization, so it wasn't supposed to be the people exactly.
yeah.
It,
I
it
mean,
wa- like that's different. That's why you make a good point about that.
mm. I mean, say these days everybody be up in arms about a white actor blacking up these days.
But
Um, it,
there is a thing called makeup, and it is something that is, if it's makeup or
but
if it
makeup,
isn't, if it
makeup,
isn't, go on.
makeup makes the character come alive.
Hmm.
Uh, and we've got to thank Long Chaney for that. Senior, he was the man of a thousand faces. Without his technique in makeup, and he, I know what I'm saying about white guys playing coloured skin characters. Um, but what a great job Alec Guinness did
Hmm.
with this. Um, we did have one Egyptian actor in this, which was Omar Sharif.
Hmm.
So he fitted in well. But so all the other main characters wear dark makeup and everything like that, putting on the accents. Um, it didn't take. I know people would these days be sat there watching this, picking it to bits because of that. I think,
Hmm.
and that would just spoil the experience, wouldn't
Well,
it?
the difference is like if there weren't people who were acting at that point,
Mm,
to do the job.
yeah, and the most well, he wasn't. I mean, he said one Egyptian actor, Omar.
And there was like two Hispanic actors. There was Anthony Quinn
Yeah,
and Jose Ferrer.
yeah,
So I mean, they did have people of color, but they didn't have as many people of color to
yeah,
choose from for these characters. Now, of course, they do. And now,
yeah,
of course, it would behoove you greatly to try and find the right actor for the part, and equities broaden their scope,
yeah.
and the Screen Actors Guild and what is it called? SAG,
Yeah,
AFTRA is
uh,
also like they're bigger pots now,
yeah.
and you can
These
pull
days,
from any of these melting pots. Yeah.
these days, you would never ever get white actors making up like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, I mean, you do, but there again, the thing is on the other foot there when you watch a movie called White Chicks. Uh, you know, it's like that, isn't it? This world is like that. But yeah, I totally agree with you. This day and age, we have got the right people to play the right races,
Hmm.
um, because these people now are allowed to go to acting class and they're allowed to go to drama school, are allowed to do what they want to do. They're not being held back by governments or the way people um, thought they were third-rate citizens back
Right.
then. It's
And
all
there are people who are generating that they are becoming experts at the industry, just fantastic, uh super creative forces. But the reality is, it's like, also this is the other part of the story that is hard, is the fact that Lawrence was a a man who was like, he kept going, look at this stuff. Look at my skin. It's
yeah, this is me.
pathetically white. And
Yeah,
he was grieving that. And, because of how, because of how the man that the character is based on, and the character that the man was based on, and the acting that Peter O'Toole did, they were able to play this in a much more humble way than had a bunch of, you know had it been sort of, uh played a different way.
yeah.
There is a different way that this could have gone down, as a white savior kind of, and I just think that this was so much different from that. But I
Do you know?
have to address that right now.
Yeah, I'm glad we got that. We didn't forget to talk about that. We had to because of the actors in this playing the parts. Um, Anything else you want to say before we go to final and score?
Mm.
Well then, over to you, Susan.
All right. Well, love this movie. Uh, it's beautiful. Um, and I love the subject. I really have to eventually read the Seven Pillars of Wisdom.
Hmm.
Think that that might be really wise, and sometime in the future, gonna have to do that. But I fully like the glorious, like, nature that's full of powerful powerful set pieces, powerful, moments. Uh, Such a sweeping tale. Oh my gosh. And watching a- anything before 1920, I mean, it's like those times were amazing. Like what people went through to move around the world, to have influence in other parts of the world. I mean, that's totally amazing. So I'll give this 10 camels 10 galloping camels out of 10.
Cool. Well, as it says on the back of this DVD, one of the most critically acclaimed and beloved films of all time. And I've got to agree with that. It's just a sweeping, epic adventure of a man
Mhm.
who embraced the land he was fighting for. Um, Great acting, great scenery. I'm going to give this 10 camel humps out of 10. Uh, it's admittedly it is a very long movie, but it's worth the watch from beginning to end. So if you're doing historical things at school, give it a watch. Um, you guys out there, if you've seen the movie, let us know what you thought of it. Was it okay for you, or didn't you like it? Please explain why. Leave a comment below on this video, which you will find on all forms of social media, because I share it about a bit. So you can leave a comment on any of those. Also leave a comment if you'd like to join us, because me and Susan are getting a bit lonely here on our own. Please message us. Just say, I would like to join. I am 18 and over. Good. I have got a working camera and microphone on my device. Good. And I have subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I get notified every time the bell notification comes up. And I'll say, wow, you have done your homework. You can come and join us. So that is our little Lawrence of Arabia cast done. Anything we want to say before we go, Susan?
No, just,
No.
just, shukran for watching and,
Mhm.
uh, mashallah,
I'm going
Allah
to work.
Subhanahu.
I'm going to work my way over there to the next water hole because I'm a bit parched. So until next time, guys, please be safe.